I'll take a burger. Medium.
Me too.
Okay. I'll take a drawing tablet.
Screen or no screen?
Screen.
What size? Large? 19, 22, 24, 27 inches. Let's go 24. Touch or no touch? No touch. What resolution you want with that, honey?
You know, there's a lot of these tablets out there right now. The number of options is kind of crazy. There are some brands out there that I don't even cover because I just don't have the time. My apologies to the Artisol SP1603. It's me, not you. Screw you, buddy. Xencelabs is a newer manufacturer. Well, a newer brand anyway, and I'm interested in what they are trying to do. They're part of a larger company called Han van Uji. That company has 3 brands: Uji, XP Pen, and Xencelabs. It's good to think of these products as like good, better, best. With Uji being the budget option, XP is kind of being that middle ground, and Xencelabs being the premium, but there's a fair amount of overlap in between. The positioning of Xencelabs has always made sense to me. Ooh. I'm sorry, that wasn't supposed to be a pun. As the price of Wacom's Pro products have gotten out of hand, there was room for someone to come along and offer maybe more, that charged maybe a little bit more than some of the competitors, but also was undercutting Wacom in price. And oh hey, look, that's where this pen display sits. And if you do compare this with Wacom's Cintiq Pro 22, which is $3,000, then this is a downright steal. But Wacom has finally woken up to all of this competition and realized that some lower priced alternatives, like the Cintiq 24 Touch I reviewed a few weeks ago, would be a really good idea. And after testing it, geez, it is really good. And at $1,500, it is not cheap, but it's a reasonable price for what you're getting. By the way, naming all these different pen displays at once, I know, is a little complicated. If you're researching all of this stuff, I review all the tech that I review over on my website, bradsartschool.com. It's a good place to go if you want to see all my reviews in one place. So when we compare the Xencelabs 24 to the Wacom Cintiq 24 head-to-head, you are getting more here with the Xencelabs. For example, you have a higher resolution 4K display. The Wacom does have a touchscreen option. It also has a version without that. The Xencelabs does not. There is way more in the Xencelabs box though. Off the bat, you get any cable you would ever need here, and they're all a bit longer than the standard 3-foot cables that you get with Wacom stuff. So if you have to string these a little further away from your computer or your laptop, it's easier to do that. Of course, you'll never need all of it. Xencelabs is just covering their bases. For me, all I needed was the power cable and a single USB Type-C cable to get everything up and running, either on my Mac or on my PC. But if you want to use an HDMI cord with the USB cable, those are here for you. And unlike Wacom, this also has a shortcut remote and a way to attach it to the tablet. The Wacom comes with the slim version of its Pro Pen 3. This comes with a pen box. Now this thing is nice. There are 2 pens in here. There is a slim pen and a wider pen. While the Wacom's is kind of customizable, you could turn it into a wider pen if you wanted to. This just gives you 2 pens out of the box, so you can grab the one that suits you best. The Wacom comes with 2 nibs. This comes with a lot of nibs. I don't feel like counting right now, but it's a lot. Now both of these do have stands, adjustable stands, really nice adjustable stands. And both of these have little doodads that let you attach your pens to either the sides or the tops of the device. But only the Xencelabs comes with a cleaning cloth, and what's this? A drawing glove! So it is easy to see where this extra price comes in.
You want a screen with that?
Sorry. Flashback. This is a big, beautiful 24-inch monitor. It is 4K, 3040 pixels by 2160 pixels with a 60 hertz refresh rate. If you're not used to these kind of products, you might be like, what's up with those huge bezels? This is common for drawing tablets. When you're sliding your hand around, you don't want to have to worry about it falling off the edge when you go to select something on the far side. You've probably already noticed the screen does have a matte finish on it. This helps prevent glare, but it also gives the screen just a touch of texture that really helps with a pen from sliding around too much, which happens a lot on those glossy screens when you're dealing with a plastic tip pen. Basically, this is giving you more drawing control. Even though this has a matte finish on it, the colors still look really good. One area that they are really pushing for this display is its color accuracy. Now, I will confess, this is not my area of expertise. This monitor can create over 1 billion colors, and the Cintiq I've been comparing it to can only do 16 million. That's a huge difference. So can I tell? No, I really can't. But again, this isn't my area of expertise. And if that level of color range is important to your work, you probably already know that, and you probably already ruled out the standard Cintiq. As far as color spaces go, this has a 99% Rec 709 to 99% Adobe RGB and a 93% DCI P3 range. It's also Kalman ready. The calibration tools are built into the drivers, making the process a lot faster. And out of the box, this is already Pantone and skin tone validated. The display does get a little bit warm, so you are going to want the drawing glove that it comes with. The good news here is that most of that heat seems to be towards the top of the screen, where your hand is less likely to be resting for a long time. Chances are, is if you're looking at a tablet like this, you're not the core audience for my Learn to Draw in 60 Days course, which is really built for beginners. If you've ever taken a drawing tutorial and thought, this is a little bit out of my range, I need to learn some fundamentals first, that's what this course is designed for. I also have an Intro to Digital Art course, which might be more your speed if you're a professional. Anyway, check those out over on my website, bradsartschool.com. How many pens you need, honey? Yeah, let's talk about this pen box because it's really nice. They've included this with most of their products, so I have seen it before, but every time I open it up on a new product that I'm testing out, I'm impressed all over again. It includes a 2-button slim pen and a 3-button wider pen. And in the settings app, you can jump in there and change the pressure of each of these independently or customize what the buttons do. The buttons along the side are the perfect amount of clicky. I use a lot of pens, and one thing I do all the time is I accidentally click the buttons when I'm drawing, and that will like toggle my pencil to an eraser or turn on some tool I didn't expect, and it's kind of annoying. I don't get a lot of ghost clicks here. Even when I'm holding the pen upside down with the buttons resting on my middle finger, they aren't accidentally activated. The pen box also has those extra nibs included. Some of those are softer felt tipped nibs. Those feel really good. They add a little bit more scratchiness to the tablet when you're drawing. I like the feel of those. They will wear out faster than the plastic nibs, but I'm cool with that. Also in the box, you're going to see the USB connectors you're going to need for the shortcut remote.
So you do want the shortcut remote on the side?
Yeah, let's do that. Because the shortcut remote is a slick accessory. Every tablet maker makes their own version of this with customizable keys that you can set up anyway for your workflow, but this one might be my favorite. It has a little OLED screen on it. It's hard to film. It's kind of flickery when I turn the camera on. In real life, it does not flicker. I pinky promise. And what makes this nice is that it shows your shortcuts right there on the screen, so you don't have to memorize the buttons. I really like that. And you can change these. So if you don't want it to say shift, you can change it to grabby hand. If you don't want it to say the letter B, you can set it to brush. You can customize the heck out of it. You can customize this system-wide, or you can customize those shortcuts on an app-by-app basis too. There's a little plastic holder that fits snugly along the top or the sides of the device. You can move it around wherever you find it to be most comfortable for you. I like to draw with my right hand, so I have the shortcut remote on the left-hand side. That's the way I like it. And of course, it comes with a USB cable for charging this thing as well. We also have a dongle, so we can use this completely wirelessly. And there's 2 USB ports along the top of the tablet, so you can plug in that dongle there without taking up an extra port on your computer, which is just a nice little touch. Now, this is a preference, but there is one thing I would change on the remote, and let me know if I'm off base with this in the comments. The wheel is smooth, and it moves a little too fast for me. I like a more clicky wheel, so if I'm changing brush sizes or rotating or zooming or that sort of thing, I like the clickiness. Or maybe it's not the clickiness, maybe I just want a little more stiffness to that wheel than what it has. Maybe it just spins too fast. I don't know.
How is everything? You tried those pens yet?
I was just talking about those, but let's dive into the drawing experience. The most important part of any tablet is what it's actually like to draw on, and here the pens feel really good. Since this is the same parent company as XP Pen, I'm getting a very similar feeling to the pens here. They hold pressure well, they're super accurate, there isn't any parallax or offset to the tip of the pen to where the line appears underneath it. A lot of people ask me about lag, but really, it's not really the lag on the monitor. It depends on how fast your computer is and what program you're using. That's what causes the lag, not the display itself. Getting that Wacom Cintiq Pro with 120 Hz may help a little bit, but really a faster program or a faster computer is going to help a lot more. I do get a little bit of shoestringing on super fast lines. That happens with the standard hard round brush in Photoshop, but many of the inking brushes that I actually use when I'm drawing tend to taper a lot better, and I didn't find that to be a problem with those. And of course, the one thing I am always looking for in these pens is wave, like mechanical wave on slow angled lines. I also find this sometimes appears with like rounded edges. I do a lot of these loop-de-loops because I'm looking for like little divots and things like that. And this pen has done a really good job of knocking most of that out. It's still there, but it is very, very faint. And with just a little bit of brush smoothing turned on, you could just completely knock that out. So the overall drawing feeling on this is really good. You may have noticed as I've been showing this thing off, there are 3 circles along the top of the monitor. What do those do?
They're settings buttons.
I was getting there. Those settings buttons are completely customizable, by the way. By default, they're set to things like launch the settings, adjust the pen pressure, and turn the version virtual tablet on and off. Virtual tablet just lets you choose which display your pen cursor shows up on, so you can control a multi-screen setup with just one pen or go mouse free. I'm a big fan of Xencelabs drivers. They're simple, they're easy to use. Along the side, you choose what settings you want for your tablet, your pen, your remote. Along the top are the programs, so you can set things up to work in Clip Studio and set them up to work another way in Illustrator or Photoshop. I don't know why there's 2 illustrators up there. Actually, I could guess. Adobe likes to install multiple versions of software without telling me. But I can add my own programs here if they aren't listed by default. Blender, here I come. And the little touches here are really nice. I can set a color for each program, so if I'm using Photoshop, those little buttons are red. If I'm using Click Studio and it's active, they're yellow. And it's a nice indicator if you have multiple programs open at once on the same desktop, which one is active and which one you're using. You ready for your check? Yeah, let's wrap this up. Comparing this to the Cintiq 24 Touch I just finished reviewing, this does offer more. A much broader color space. If you're a photographer who needs that level of control, or if you're someone who needs to match up your colors across your team with precision, the Xencelabs has the Cintiq beat. You would need to jump up to the much more expensive Cintiq Pro to find something better in this regard. And I love what they've done with their accessories. The shortcut remote, 10 out of 10. The quality of the pen holder box, 10 out of 10. Everything you will need that comes in the box, 10 out of 10. Although if you care about e-waste, maybe seeing those extra cords bothers you, see that as a negative. But what you do know is that when this arrives, you can set it up that day without having to wait for extra cords to show up. Now, for someone like me, who doesn't necessarily need that level of color accuracy and doesn't mind picking up some of the accessories extra, I like the Wacom Pro pen a little bit more. I like having that touchscreen. So for me, I'm going to give the edge to Wacom for my personal use, but this is not that far behind, and it comes down to what features you're going to personally need the most. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments.